Thing was on a loop. Hey, all right, I'm back. Don't forget, guys, we got the Forbidden Conscious Awards. You don't want to miss that event. It's going to be a mind-blowing, high-level event. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you're in the house July 30th, 2023. That's just in a few short weeks, actually, if you think about it, maybe 8 weeks away or so. Come down. Let's take pictures on the red carpet like I did at the Black Knight Satellite movie premiere at the movie theater in Detroit. It was an amazing event, red carpet. I took a picture with every person that showed up. It was an amazing night. Bring your books. If you have any books that you bought from me or Elizabeth, bring them with you so we can sign them there in person. VIP tickets are still available to go to the pre-event VIP mixer with all the celebrities and private entrance and private access, as well as box seats. There's boxes that hold 8 people each, and each box comes with hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and you'll be able to enjoy the night from a private box, VIP style, and also get access to the VIP pre-event mixer as well. It's going to be a great event. There's no bad seat in that theater. No matter where you sit, it's a great seat. So go to forbiddenknowledge.com and get your tickets ASAP. I want to see you there. I'll be speaking that night. It's going to be an incredible night. I'll be speaking, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a mind-blowing event, and it's the first of many, the very first of many. And it's going to be one of those events that's going to be talked about for a very long time. It's the biggest event of the year. We have the mainstream news coming to cover this. We have an NBC affiliate coming to cover this event, and we're giving away an Audi A4 live at the actual event. So you want to be there because you have to be in the audience to win. If we call your name and you're not there, we're going to go to the next name and somebody else will win. Okay. So make sure you're there. All right. Glad to be back. Let me just check how this chat's cranking here right quick. So many comments in the chat. There's 753 comments in the chat. That is amazing. If you want to see the comments in the chat, guys, you have to set up an account on forbiddenknowledge.tv. So go to 4bk.tv. You're already on there. You're watching this link, or forbiddenknowledge.tv. You're on the link watching this right now. But if you just click on from watching this, if you click on, create an account, then you can actually comment, or you can see the comments of others, and you can see the energy and the vibe that we have going on here. There's over 753 comments right here. So I have the Yerba Mate tea. Somebody was asking me what type of tea. Good tea. All right, now, that's Jose Gonzalez was asking me that question in there. All right, Jose, thanks for joining us. Amelia Hemingway says, we in the house. All right. Tanasha Ward, just created an account. Now I can see the comments. Woohoo. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's get back to business over here. All right. We're going to stay on this Supermind code here for another minute. M multiplied by I equals N dash I comma C. We're talking about the mind multiplied by imagination, which is going to be an incredible situation for you, because once you multiply the imagination, now you get new ideas and concepts. Excuse me. And these new ideas and concepts are going to move you in a whole nother direction in life. What I wrote earlier was creativity involves divergent thinking, which is the ability to explore multiple perspectives, right? We know this. But it's important to note that creativity is not limited to a select few individuals. While some people may naturally exhibit a higher degree of creative thinking, everyone has the potential to cultivate and enhance their creative abilities through practice, experimentation, and embracing a mindset that embraces curiosity and exploration. And sometimes in curiosity and exploration, it can be things that are embarrassing. We have been put in such a weird box in society. Like if you start experimenting or thinking creatively, and we start thinking, well, if I do this or somebody knows that I'm into that or somebody sees me doing this, they're going to think I'm crazy or weird. Forget what people think about you. Stop worrying about what people think about you. Because I'll tell you what, if I worried about what people thought about me, I wouldn't be sitting here teaching you today. I wouldn't be on this workshop. You wouldn't be listening to me speak for these last, few hours. You would have never heard of forbidden knowledge because I was attacked from the very beginning. I've been attacked for decades. I've been called crazy for decades. I've been called a whack job, a nutcase, a tinfoil hat wearing pseudoscientist. I've had death threats. I've did the whole works. I've had people create social media accounts dedicated to try to bring me down. People create YouTube accounts dedicated to trying to bring me down. Dedicated. Do you think that I thought I listened to these people? The evidence is here that I haven't listened to any of them. I haven't worried about any of them. And the proof of that is the fact of where I am right now, the level I'm at right now. I'm on a steady incline going straight up like a rocket ship, regardless of what all those people said and thought about me. My third grade teacher was one of the very first people to try to chop me off at the knee. My third grade teacher, let me tell you this story right here. Some of you might not heard about this one. I was in the third grade, Rainbow Park Elementary School, Miami, Florida, Opelika. I lived about 4 or 5 houses away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses away from the school. Anyway, the teacher had everybody stand up one day to say, what they want to be when they grow up. Because we had just had a career day a few days prior, or the weekend. I think it was a Friday was a career day, and then Monday, talking about this career day stuff and what do you want to be when you grow up. Everybody's standing up. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an attorney. I want to be a janitor. I want to be a garbage man, blah, blah, blah. I jump up and I go, I want to be famous and I want to be on TV. And she said, oh, Billy, look where you are. Look where you're from. You're poor. You're never going to be famous and be on TV. Almost like, are you kidding me? You want to be famous and be on TV? You're from this ghetto? You need to pick something else. You need to be a janitor or something. And the whole class laughed at me. They laughed and they laughed. And I cried. I cried. It was pretty tough. But still hurts to this day. I didn't let that take me down. You see? The average person would have taken that and been crushed. I took that blow to the gut. Boom, boom. I was like, oh. But I got back up. I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to prove her wrong. I didn't take the victim mindset. I didn't take the mindset as, oh man, and look what they did, and they laughing at me, and look what she said to me, and I look where I live, and I'm, you know what, she's right, and I ain't gonna make it. And I said, nah, I'm gonna do it. I didn't know that this would be the method, knowledge. I honestly thought I would be an actor on TV or something like that. I didn't know it was gonna be through this method that I've been utilizing. I couldn't see that image of it. But I just felt like I would be famous and be on TV. Now I'm in over 1,000 TV shows worldwide with my own TV network that I'm teaching on. If she was still alive today, I would send her a TV with my network already programmed on it so she can see me. Right? So pretty interesting. But again, it comes down to understanding that you can't be worried about the outside noise and what people are saying about you. When you start worrying about that stuff, that's when you actually give away your power. You give away your power. And when you give away your power, you give away your creativity. And when you give away your creativity, you don't go anywhere. You get stuck in a rut. You don't move. You don't elevate. You don't motivate. You don't inspire. You become part of the system. You see, the average person is on this planet is a prisoner, and they're also the prison guards at the same time. The prisoners and the prison guards. Next, Supermind code, M times PS equals S. Our minds have the ability to problem solve and find solutions to complex issues, right? Again, you see how it always starts with the mind and then the mind multiplied by. In other words, there has to be some type of a energy exchange. First, you access the mind and you observe it. And then from there comes the energy exchange. In this case, it's problem solving. And problem solving equals solutions. So the mind multiplied by problem solving will equal actual solutions. So one of the biggest problems we have on this planet is people complain about the problems, but nobody's providing solutions. So if everybody's complaining and nobody's providing solutions, how do you think we're going to move forward as a civilization on this planet? How do you think you're going to move forward as a leader in your household? How do you think you're going to move forward just in society as a whole? How do you think you're going to move forward with things that you want to accomplish in your life if you're not searching and hunting vigorously for solutions? It starts with this code. M multiplied by PS equals S. That's the code right there. Problem solving is a cognitive process that involves identifying challenges, analyzing information, generating potential solutions, and selecting the most appropriate course of action. Every day I become a solutions provider. In business, you find that things will blindside you all the time. You can take the mindset of, oh man, why is this happening to me? And I can't understand why this is happening. And this is starting to be too much and I can't take it. Or, oh, boom, okay. Oh, this is what's happening. All right, let me sit down and analyze this for a minute. Let me get my team together. Let me do some searching and looking. Oh, boom. Okay, if this has happened before to this situation with somebody else, this is how they solved it. Let's duplicate what they did there since that worked. I can't find a solution. Let me make a few phone calls. Like somebody that I know has to have gone through this situation before. Let me figure out how they got out of it. Let me create the solution through my imagination. Let me go to my previous Supermind code and use my imagination and become the imaginary creator of the solution, and then collapse that imagination into reality. You see how I'm thinking? I'm thinking totally opposite of the average person. When faced with a problem, our minds engage in critical thinking, which involves careful analysis, evaluation, and reasoning. We gather relevant information, break down the problem into manageable components, and seek to understand its underlying causes and constraints. This process allows us to gain insight into the problem and formulate effective strategies for solving it. That's how you move through this matrix. Because I guarantee you every single day or week or month, there's going to be a surprise issue, a problem that's going to present itself. And you're going to need to solve that problem, but you don't solve it unless you understand this code. Unless you understand that you have to take your mind and multiply it by your problem solving capability. There's an energy exchange that has to take place. Otherwise, you're going to spin your wheels and you're going to blame everyone else. And you're not going to go anywhere. And you're going to keep blaming other people instead of looking in the mirror, or on these days, take a selfie, because you're the problem. The problem that pops up isn't the problem. The problem that pops up is not the problem. The problem is your lack of problem solving capability. That's the real problem. Your inability to attack the problem and solve it and resolve it and maneuver around it. That's the problem. You see, it's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of understanding how to navigate through this matrix. Problem solving often requires creativity Isn't that the same thing as imagination? That's why I put that word in there. As we may need to generate new ideas, that's imagination again, consider alternative perspectives, or explore unconventional approaches. Start thinking outside of the box. Stop thinking inside this little tiny package. Break outside of that. Expand your thinking to the multidimensional platform that we talked about in the very beginning. You have the capability. You're tied into up to 11 dimensions. Start tapping into the higher levels of knowledge. We can overcome mental barriers and discover innovative solutions. Solutions to problems. Not crying and complaining and whining and nagging and why is this happening to me? Solving problems. Once you dedicate yourself to becoming a problem solver, you'll see that everything will open right up. Moreover, problem solving is not merely a solitary endeavor. Collaboration and communication play essential roles in finding solutions to complex issues. If you don't know the answer, find someone that knows the answer. If you can't find someone that knows the answer, get on YouTube. Now, YouTube is kind of a quasi university. You got to figure out what's real and what's fake, but at least you can get some type of idea or concept maybe of which way to go. Hop on now. Google, right? Now I think they got something new. They got this chat GBT thing, which I haven't really had a chance to play around with a lot yet, but they got the chat GB. Find some way to tap into a potential solution to the problem through a collaboration or through asking questions. Like Tupac said, even a genius asks questions, right? By sharing ideas, perspectives, and expertise with others, we can benefit from collective intelligence and diverse insights, leading to more comprehensive and effective problem-solving outcomes. In addition to cognitive processes, problem-solving involves practical steps such as planning, implementing, and evaluating the chosen solution. It requires adaptability and willingness to adjust strategies based on feedback and new information. Through iteration and refinement, we can optimize our problem-solving approaches and achieve better outcomes. And all we want is a better outcome. Anytime you're trying to solve a problem, you're trying to navigate, you're trying to convert that problem to where the outcome of it is more favorable for you, right? And the mindset you have to have is problem solver. I'm a problem solver. I'm a solutions provider. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not a whiner. You got to learn how to be a warrior, not a worrier. Learn how to be a warrior, not a worrier. See? We're going to move into another section here for a second. Let me pause this for 1 second. I'm about to check out the chat one more time. Make sure everything's working fine over here. 771 comments. There you go. Robin Butler says chat GBT. Darlene Harris, is this a Supermind Code teaching? Yes, it is, Darlene. You're in the right place. That's been my motto lately. I don't focus on problems. I just look for solutions. That was, who said that? Joshua George. Dean Henry, Billy's third grade teacher's comment was like a battery in the back of Billy. You got that right. Sure did energize me in the right way. Caroline, Billy, you took that and sold your toys. I'm inspired and enjoy the intelligence. Thank you. Thankful you kept going. All right, looks like everything looks good there. Comments are working. The video's flowing properly. Every now and then, I just like to check on the chat and see what's going on. If you want to be in the part of the chat, you got to register for an account on Forbidden Knowledge TV so you can actually participate in the chat there. You get a 7-day free trial. It doesn't cost you any money to register and try it out. Plus, you get access to thousands of TV shows, documentaries, movies, and workshops that are up there. All right. Next, Supermind Code. M multiplied by MM equals T, comma, S. The mind can be trained and strengthened through practices such as meditation and mindfulness. So when you take the mind and you multiply it by meditation and mindfulness, what happens? You get trained and you get strengthened. That's the result. That's the side effect. So you take the meditation and mindfulness and you multiply it, you end up with training, and you end up with the ability to be strengthened. It's really it's a habit forming thing. You have to understand how to form positive habits in your life. And that's really where this goes. The practices involve focusing one's attention and awareness on the present moment, cultivating a non judgmental, accepting attitude towards thoughts and sensations. And you want to be able to focus on the now, focus on the moment of now. But you want to do it through mindfulness, where you're becoming the observer of your thoughts, not your thoughts. Most people go through life believing that they are their thoughts, and wherever they think, it's actually them. It's actually false. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And to prove this, you can actually separate yourself from yourself in your mind and hear yourself talking. You can even talk back to yourself and make a decision change or overwrite the programming and change it to another particular decision. You can hear yourself saying, I'm walking down this aisle, I'm going to turn left. And you can actually stop and you can hear yourself say that. And you can actually say, no, turn right, and your body will turn right. You are not your thoughts. The more you understand that, the better off you will be. You are the observer of your thoughts with an overriding program capability. You can overwrite the code whenever you want from a higher dimensional thinking standpoint. You can overwrite the code inside this avatar body. You can rewrite conscious conversations and reprogram the body's movements. You can alter negative thoughts and direct them towards positive thoughts on the drop of a dime. It's all up to how you want to navigate through this matrix. Let's look a little deeper into this Supermind code. Here are a few ways in which meditation and mindfulness can train and strengthen the mind. Attention and concentration. Meditation exercises often involve focusing attention on a specific object, such as the breath or mantra. We did the Om earlier today, right? That's a mantra. It's also the primordial sound of the universe, which is a specific type of cymatic frequency that actually resonates with string theory and allows matter to jingle into existence in the third dimension. Right? Powerful stuff. By repeatedly bringing the mind back to the chosen focal point whenever it wanders, these practices enhance attention and concentration abilities. So when you're focusing on something and your brain begins to wander because of distractions, or you start picking up your phone and you start swiping on your feed and all this ridiculous stuff that's on the feed, first of all, and you're swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping, you got to stop in here and you got to say, hey, look what you're doing. Notice what you're doing. Notice the energy that you're wasting. Notice your mindfulness slipping and you're getting distracted from your concentration and from your ultimate goal. And tell yourself to stop and watch your hand stop swiping. Watch the other hand put the phone down. And now direct yourself back to the goal and get back on track. That's mindfulness. You see? Over time, individuals can experience improved focus and sustained attention in various aspects of their lives. Emotional regulation, which a lot of people just don't have. Mindfulness practices involve cultivating an attitude of non-reactive and acceptance towards emotions and thoughts by observing them without judgment. Individuals can develop greater emotional resilience and the ability to regulate their emotions effectively. This can lead to reduced stress, increased self-awareness, and the improved emotional well-being, what you actually need. And so we're talking about the ability, like I said before, to separate yourself from your thoughts. Mindfulness is a very, very powerful thing. Start catching yourself when you're slipping in every aspect. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and you get pissed off. Talk to yourself. Say, no, 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 no. That's not me. That's my thoughts, but that's not really me. Calm down. Tell yourself, calm down. Get yourself back in check. Start focusing on something positive. Think of something that made you feel great. That'll flip a switch inside your brain and your mind, and you'll switch off your cortisol, and you'll go back to being a normal person again. Mindfulness. These are things that hold people back. Something as simple as meditation and mindfulness that's not being done properly. You ever know somebody, or maybe even yourself, that you just seem to just drift away or get lost in something, and you got all this stuff you got going on, it has to be done, and you can't seem to focus on it? You ever know anybody that just flies off at the hinge on a moment's notice? They can't control their emotions whatsoever. They're not utilizing this Supermind code. They're not accessing the meditation and mindfulness needed to be trained and strengthened emotionally and spiritually. Cognitive flexibility. Meditation and mindfulness practices encourage individuals to observe their thoughts and experiences without attachment or identification. This process can foster cognitive flexibility, allowing for greater openness to different perspectives, adaptive problem solving, and reduction in rigid thinking patterns. You have to get rid of those rigid thinking patterns. We're like, this is the way it is, and this is the way it's got to be. No. There's many ways. There are many ways to accomplish the same goal. There are many techniques that can be used. I can get 5 different chefs in a kitchen, and I can tell each chef to cook a chocolate cake, and each chef will use a totally different method to cook that chocolate cake. And each chocolate cake will taste slightly different, but they're all chocolate cakes. You see? It's important to understand what's going on here. How do you tap into this advanced knowledge? This is all about understanding mindfulness and meditation. And meditation doesn't mean you're sitting, in the lotus position with your legs crossed and folded and all this kind of stuff. If you can do that, that's great. Don't get me wrong. I don't sit like that. I don't sit like that. I don't do that. I do my meditation several different ways. I do my meditation in the bed, laying comfortably, wide awake, but in a meditative state. I do my meditations in the shower. I do my walking meditations, right? In the shower, I usually do my manifestation meditations. And my walking meditations are also sometimes manifestation meditations, sometimes creative meditations, where I let creativity from the universe come to me, which I come up with some of my most greatest ideas, or really my greatest ideas are downloaded into me on those walks, right? And sometimes I'm just sitting in a room quietly and just doing a cosmic meditation. I do Merkaba meditations. But all these meditations are done because I practiced them. When I get on an airplane on a long flight, I'm on a lot of long flights, as you guys know. In the last 24 months, I traveled the world 11 times. Been around the world 11 times in 24 months. 259 cities, countless hours on airplanes. What do I do on all that time on the airplane? I do meditations. I'm on a 14-hour flight, a 20-hour flight, a 16-hour flight. I just go into a meditation. I have my schedule, some work, some movie, and some meditation. That's how I get through my flights. You have to carve out time for what's important and stop making excuses to why you can't do it. Just be involved and start to learn how to get it done and develop those habits. These are positive habits, right? Excuse me. I was on for 4 hours yesterday on YouTube. Now today, another 4 hours. That's a lot of talking. Wow, a lot of topics. Now, let's move on. Same topic, stress reduction. Mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques have shown significant benefits in managing and reducing stress levels by training the mind to focus on the present moment and developing a non judgmental attitude towards stressors. Individuals can better cope with stress, promote relaxation, and improve overall mental well being by using stress reduction techniques. Neuroplasticity. Regular meditation and mindfulness practices have been found to induce neuroplastic changes in the brain, and studies have shown that these practices can increase the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, where the neocortex is at, Neo from the Matrix, the area associated with attention, emotional regulation, and decision making. It can also enhance connectivity between different brain regions involved in cognitive and emotional processes. If you know anybody that's very impulsive, that once they have a thought, they can't stop themselves, they need to understand that they need meditation and mindfulness training severely. It will help to thicken and strengthen, the prefrontal cortex, which is extremely important. You ever heard of a natural born killer, somebody that kills and can't stop themselves, and no matter what you do, and if you lock them up for 1,000,000 years, they couldn't stop themselves from killing again? They have a damaged frontal cortex. If you scan their brain with a SPECT scan, you'll find out that their prefrontal cortex is damaged. They literally can't stop themselves. Somebody who has outbursts, people who have these anger outbursts or will curse you out or whatever, a lot of these people have a weak prefrontal cortex. Once a thought goes out, they can't navigate it, they can't control it, they can't suppress it. It just has to come out. It's worth noting that, like any skill, meditation and mindfulness require practice and consistency to experience their benefits fully. Engaging in these practices regularly, even for a few minutes a day, can yield positive results over time. It's a cumulative result that continues to build. Start off with 5 minutes, push it to 10 minutes, eventually push it to 15 minutes, max it out to 30. Stay at 30 for a little while and work yourself up to 45 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours. You'll find that my longest meditation was 6 hours. You'll find that time doesn't even exist anymore. 6 hours felt like a few minutes to me. That was on a flight. And the only reason why I came out of it is because the flight attendant tapped me on the shoulder and asked me if I wanted breakfast. That was the only reason I came out of that meditation. I would have still went. Probably would have done maybe 7, 8 hours. Okay. Now, this is a powerful one. You might have heard me talk about this one before. This Supermind Code is probably one of the most powerful ones that exist. Conscious thought multiplied by action equal manifestation. This is a powerful, powerful, powerful Supermind Code. And even as powerful as it is, the average person doesn't recognize it, doesn't see it, takes it completely for granted, doesn't realize that this power is how they actually are even alive right now. The statement, conscious thought multiplied by action equals manifestation, suggests that combining focused thinking with intentional action, that's the energy exchange, can lead to the realization or materialization of desired outcomes or goals. In other words, when we align our thoughts with purposeful action, we increase the likelihood of bringing about the results that we seek. You can't get the outcome without the action. A lot of people are going through life hoping and wishing and dreaming. And that all sounds really cute and good. Sounds like a nice movie. Sounds like a good family movie to watch on a Saturday evening or a Sunday night. But that's not real life. You have to have action. Without action, you have zilch. You have nothing. And by that, by not understanding that you need action, you now take your life and your abilities for granted. And you put your talents underneath the rock to rot away until they become dust. Then you die and you got to start all over again from scratch. You have to understand that your conscious thoughts about a particular thing that you want to manifest require action. I can't sit here and go, I need a new car. I need a new car. I need a new car. And then walk outside and see a new car without doing anything about it. Now, in some extremely rare cases, that can happen. But the odds are very small. You have to maximize your odds and maximize your potential with action. So if I say I need a new car, now I go from that, I go, okay, what kind of car do I need? Okay, now I isolate that. Now, this is the kind of car I need. What color should it be? Okay, I isolate that. Now it's this color. Okay, what tires? What rims? Alloy, steel, what is it? Okay, what type of interior? Is it velour? Is it leather? What type of stereo system? Okay, what kind of engine? What kind of exhaust? Now I'm getting very, very specific. Now I've identified the specific car that I want. And now I go, okay, this is it. Let me go down and test drive this thing. Even though I don't have the money to drive it yet, to buy it yet. I'm going to go down and test. I'm going to go sit in this car, this exact one that my imagination took me to. And now I'm going to go drive it. Once I drive it and I'm happy with it, I claim it. This is my car. Now I go back and I do a meditation at home called a manifestation meditation, where in that meditation, the only thing I do is in my meditation, I'm in the car, picking it up from the dealer, in the car, driving it as my own. I'm not thinking about buying it. I already bought it. I own the car in this meditation. I'm driving it around to my friends' houses, showing it off. I'm coming home to my house, pulling into my driveway, coming in the house, parking it, and chirping the alarm and go inside the house, parking in the garage or wherever, right? In my manifestation meditation, I'm cruising down the highway. It's my car. Now what happens? The universe starts conspiring. The energy, the frequency has gone out. These electromagnetic waves of thoughts have gone out into the universe. They leave your skull. Your thoughts don't stay inside of this bone. They go out. And how do we know that? Well, if I put a cap on you with sensors, I can collect those light waves with an EEG, and I can send that data from your own brain, those light waves, convert it into data and send it to a computer, and I can analyze your brain. Every thought that you're thinking is leaving your skull and going out into space-time forever, permanently. Thoughts that you had 20 years ago are still floating around in the ether right now, today. Just like radio waves, which are waves of light, and TV waves, which are waves of light, like I Love Lucy, the TV show that came out in the 60s, it's still floating around in space-time right now. If you were an alien race outside of our solar system and you had the capability of deciphering the radio wave, which is a wave of light, you can watch I Love Lucy from 1960 in space. Your brain is doing the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Real science, not pseudoscience. They'll teach you this at MIT in neuroscience class. And so, what's interesting about that is our thoughts carry data and information to the universe. Those light waves leave, but they're encoded with information on them that the universe can access and read. Now it begins to conspire and create realities that can have positive outcomes in the favor of what you're trying to manifest. But those opportunities will come to you. You have to discern them and put action steps into them. All of a sudden, a new contract or an opportunity to make more money will arise, or a deal will come up that will allow you to generate enough income for a down payment on the car, or something that you had been working on for some time will now finally come through and give you the ability to make the monthly payment that you need to cover the cost of the car that you actually want. Windows will open, doors will open. Sometimes people get to this point and then they fail because they don't recognize that windows and doors open, but they also close. You have to discern the opportunities. Something that comes through that window or door might connect you to somebody else that eventually connects you to what you need to be able to make that deal close. You can't just be like, oh, no, no, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. I'm working on this thing. Sometimes you have to really sit back and discern the opportunities as they arise, because they could be the golden opportunities that connect you to the next thing, that connect you to the next thing, that allow you to get the keys to that car or whatever it is. They don't have to be a car. It could be anything you're trying to accomplish. But I'm just giving you this as an archetype. See? You have to be prepared for these opportunities as they arise once you get to that level of manifestation process, because if you don't, those windows and doors will close. Takes me to a famous parable where there was a guy on a boat. He didn't tell anybody he was going fishing that day, and he went way out into the ocean to go fishing, deep sea fishing. Didn't tell anybody he was leaving, didn't take a phone or anything. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, the boat started taking on water and it capsized. He's out there in the middle of nowhere, and he finds a little piece of a material that was from inside the boat, and he's hanging on to it. It's got a little bit of air under it. It's keeping him afloat, barely. And a few days go by, and he's praying, God, please come save me. God, please come and save me. A few days later, a boat pulls up on him and says, hey, man. Throws a life ring out to him. Says, grab this. I'm going to pull you up. He goes, no, no, no. God's going to save me. The guy goes, what? He says, yeah, no, I'm waiting on God. God's going to save me. The boat goes, man, you're crazy. The captain says, you're crazy, man. And the captain pulls off and the boat leaves. A few more days goes by. This guy is halfway dead now. Another boat finds him out there in the middle of nowhere, throws out a life ring to him. He says, oh, no, no, no. I'm waiting on God. I got faith in God. God's going to save me. Captain goes, man, you're crazy. Pulls off. Now this guy's got, like, he's on his last breath. Another boat pulls pulls up on him as he's sinking. Tries to save him, pull him up. He comes up, no, no. God's going to save me. Then he drowns and dies. He makes it to heaven. When he gets to heaven, he sees God. He says, God, I was praying like crazy. I was out there in the middle of nowhere drowning in the ocean. And God said, you idiot, I sent 3 damn boats. You see what I'm saying? I sent 3 damn boats. You didn't discern what I did. I had already sent you what you needed to save yourself. This is what I'm talking about. The fact that being able to understand this code is probably one of the biggest codes on this entire list, because it has to do with understanding how to discern connectivity between things that will lead you to your final objective. You see? And you have to be ready. You have to be ready, and you have to be willing. But again, it's going to require action. Every step along the way into manifestation requires action. Like I said earlier, a guy thought about creating this mug that's on a multidimensional platform. How did it end up being a third-dimensional object? The action was what? He had to write this down on a piece of paper. He had to get it into a computer design program so he could design it properly. He had to get it over to an engineer so the engineer can actually manifest it as a 3-dimensional object that we can pick up and navigate in the 3rd dimension. And then he had to invest energy into it to even get it to market. The action steps created this mug. The imagination created on the multidimensional platform, but to bring it into the 3rd dimension took action. And everything you see that exists in the entire 3rd dimension that's not from nature, that's what we call quote unquote man-made items, like the clothes on your back, the table I'm in front of, the chair I'm sitting in, the device I'm looking into to talk to you, your house, your apartment, your cars, even your damn toilet paper. None of that would exist if people didn't know how to tap into this code already. We naturally tap into this code, but most people are unaware of it. We walk around thinking that we're totally and utterly powerless, and that's actually not true. The power is inside of us, and to get it out requires imagination and action. Conscious thought backed by action equals manifestation. Looking a little deeper, conscious thought. Conscious thought refers to deliberate and intentional thinking. It involves directing our attention, imagination, and intentions towards specific ideas, goals, or desired outcomes. By continuously focusing our thoughts on what we want to achieve, we can shape our mindset and create a mental framework that aligns with our aspirations. Action refers to taking steps or engaging in activities that are in line with our conscious thoughts and goals. It involves actively doing something to bring out change or progress. Without action, our thoughts may remain mere ideas, those remain as imaginary, or wishes without tangible results. Taking action is a crucial component in moving from thought to manifestation. Let me say that again. That's what I wrote. Taking action is a crucial component in moving from thought to manifestation. Manifestation refers to the realization or actualization of our desires or goals in the physical world. It is the tangible outcome of aligning our thoughts and actions with our intentions. When our conscious thoughts are combined with purposeful action, we increase the chances of bringing our aspirations into reality. You see what I'm saying here? Let me say that again. When our conscious thoughts are combined with purposeful action, and the reason why I put purposeful is because we have a lot of wasted action too. I don't want people thinking that you can just, move in circles and think that all of a sudden that's good enough. That ain't how it works. Purposeful action. I can say I'm going to bake a cake. I don't know why I keep going. Maybe I want a piece of cake, but I can say that I'm going to bake a cake, and I can get all the ingredients into a mixing bowl, right? And I can really mix those ingredients together properly to where there's no lumps, there's no air bubbles, and the batter is smooth, super smooth before I pour it into the baking pan. Or I can take that same bowl, mixing bowl with all those ingredients in it, and I can half-assed whip it around. And I'm whipping it. I'm using action, but it's not purposeful action. And so what happens? There's air bubbles. There's pieces. There's parts of the batter that hasn't been absorbed by any of the fluids in the mix. There's lumps everywhere. And now I go to bake that cake. The first cake comes out perfect. The second cake, it sinks in the middle. It's got dry spots in it with actual like raw cake in it, right? Raw flour, just poof, like bite into it and raw flour, spraying out of my mouth because it hadn't even been cooked into the cake. Because I had action, I want to manifest the cake. And I guess what? I manifested a cake, but it's a crappy cake. It's a piece of crap because my action wasn't purposeful. I hope y'all are getting this because my action wasn't purposeful. Let me check the chat again. Joshua George says, motivation plus actions equals success. I love that. That's a great code. 555 action, Brianna Simmons. Tanasha Ward. Very pleased with this event. I can see with the emojis. In the comments, if you guys are getting what I'm talking about, if you understand the power of this Supermind code, let me see it in the comments. Let me see it in the comments. I see somebody just wrote, Kay just wrote, absolutely, 100%. Let me see it in the comments if you guys are getting this. This man, LOL, Veronica says LOL, get this man a cake. I love it. You're great, Billy. I don't know why I'm thinking about cake. So, I've been on this, I've been trying to reduce my sugar intake and, and all this so I can, try to stay in shape and be fit and everything else. So maybe it's the sugar talking to me like, hey, man, you need to get some cake. But regardless, I hope I made the point. Friday, because you need to get some cake. Get this man some cake. Christina Nilsson says yes. Tisha says got it. Derek Jackson, very powerful. Jody says key. Nicole Malden says the book Secret had nothing on your training. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. So you guys are getting it. So that's good. That's just want to check in from time to time. We're almost done here. We're going to be wrapping up soon. This has been a really long day, and I'm glad that everyone has been able to participate with us in the Supermind Codes. Okay, this is really, really, really important stuff. And I want to let me get back to my PowerPoint here. I just want to make sure that, from time to time that I'm checking in with y'all and letting y'all know that I'm here. Eventually, the live chat comments will feed into this streaming service, and I'll be able to see them in real time instead of going back and forth and refreshing the page to see the comments. I'll be able to see them in real time, and you'll be able to also see everyone else's comments as long as you're a subscriber to Forbidden Knowledge TV in real time as well, kind of like how YouTube is. So that's being done right now. So very soon, that'll be in effect. So until that happens, I like to go back and forth and check in from time to time with everyone in the chat. And right now we have in the chat, in the comments, I should say, not really chat, it's a comment feed, 814 comments. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right. So that's really good. I love that. That's real good engagement. And I want to thank y'all so much for paying attention and being engaged in this information, because it's so easy, again, to get into what we were just talking about, letting your mind drift, no mindfulness, right? No concentration. That was the previous mind code. No concentration. And just be, oh, well, I'm in here and I'm getting this knowledge and, but not really paying attention, just kind of like skimming the knowledge versus actually digesting it and letting it marinate and discerning it. There's levels to understanding the knowledge. And this, what I've been talking about for the past 20 minutes, is massive. Because this has been the Supermind key that has allowed me to live the life that I'm living right now. It has allowed me to expand myself and live the life that I envisioned for myself. And everyone's life that they envision for themselves is going to be totally different. This is my life and my vision, the way that I want to manifest it. And I'm living that. And I'm living proof of it. And so when people see me and they see what I'm talking about and what I'm teaching, I'm living what I'm teaching. There's so many people out there that are teaching, but they're not living what they're teaching. And that makes it hard for people to follow. It makes it hard for people that are following to have any level of success consistently, because the person that they're learning from isn't showing it. There's no show and prove in any aspect. I try to live what I talk, what I preach, what I teach. I want to show you this is what I'm saying. Now have a look at what I'm doing over here. All right. I'm living it. You have to become the light. You have to live this. You're worried about people not wanting to listen to you, and you can't talk to people because they think you're crazy and they don't want to hear what you got to say. Well, stop talking to them. Start living it. And then guess what happened? They're going to be like, hey, hold on, come over here. You doing this now and that, and you this is what you're into. This is how you're living now. Wait, hold on a second. Tell me what's going on. And that's when you say, well, I've been trying to tell you about these mind codes, these Supermind codes. I've been trying to tell you. I'm locked in. I'm dialed in. I'm in the flow state. I'm maximizing my potential with these codes. It's important to note that while conscious thought and action are significant factors in the process of manifestation, they are not the sole determinants. Other factors such as external circumstances, timing, resources. This is why I talked about earlier, getting your credit fixed. I'm going to go back to that in a second. And the involvement of other individuals can also influence the outcome. Manifestation is a complex interplay of various elements, including our own efforts and the larger context in which we operate. If you are in a position to manifest something that's going to take some type of resources, which usually equals money, and you can't leverage your credit to get access to the capital because your credit is screwed up, and your you're sabotaging yourself because you keep putting it off, then you're not really trying to manifest anything. And I know there's people on here right now listening to my voice that are saying, damn, he's talking to me. Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. You can't continue to go through life putting off things that are holding back your ability to manifest your reality. One of the most important things that's going to help you manifest your reality, unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, is leveraging your credit. If billionaires are leveraging your credit, why aren't you? Let me say that again. If billionaires are leveraging their credit, why aren't you? And then you go, they're lucky, they're billionaires. They're lucky, they're millionaires. Lucky? How about, they've unlocked the Supermind Code and they've accessed it and they're implementing it. And you haven't done that yet. Maybe either because you didn't realize it or didn't know it. But now that you have awareness, you need to be fixing that problem. So the first thing you need to do is go to credcodemanagement.com. Credit code, CREDCO, management.com, and fill out a consultation form. Credit code, I will put it in the caption of this video. When I end this video, it'll be there. And I'm going to go back to the QR code at the end of this presentation again. You got to be able to leverage your resources. Furthermore, it's worth emphasizing that manifestation is not solely about wishful thinking or positive thoughts alone. You have to have those two things, but that's not going to get you the end result. It requires sustained effort, perseverance, adaptability. Now we're tapping into other codes we talked about today, and the willingness to learn and grow along the way. The actions we take should be aligned with our thoughts and intentions, but they also need to be grounded in reality. That's important, and guided by practicality. This one paragraph I wrote taps into the codes that we talked about previously prior to this one. They all culminate into this here. It's one of the most important codes that exist. This code encompasses almost all the codes. Right? By aligning our thoughts and intentions with purposeful action, we increase the likelihood of manifesting the results we seek. However, it's essential to recognize that manifestation is a multifaceted process influenced by various factors. It required consistent effort and a realistic approach. That's why I like to teach this stuff, because people need to understand there's a realistic approach. If you watch that movie, I forget the name of that movie now. You guys know what it is. The Secret. It was a great movie. I mean, it got people thinking about manifestation, but they forgot about one important part: all these Supermind codes that go into it, and the processes and the step-by-step process that it takes to actually activate it. The action steps that are needed to make it happen are missing. So a lot of people came up with the concept or idea, all I got to do is be happy and wish for something, and it should pop right up into my world. Not necessarily the case. And then some people are trying to manifest things that are outlandish, but the probability factors take them to a very low ratio of possibly even creating that manifestation. You got to be realistic. I'm not going to sit here and start going, I'm trying to manifest a trip to Mars next week, and then next week comes and I'm not on Mars. Now, I want to manifest a trip to Mars, but I know that's probably going to be 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 years away from now. You have to be realistic with the outcome and what you're looking for and what you're trying to manifest. Another important aspect of this: the mind multiplied by shadow work equals recovery. This entire planet and everyone on it, including me, is suffering from mental illness. Let me say that again. Let me get back on the main screen again. I got to talk for a minute. This planet Earth and everyone on it, there's 8 billion people here now. 8 billion. We have 8 billion people suffering from mental illness on this planet right now as my voice speaks and reaches your ears, including me. Varying different levels of mental illness, but still yet mental illness. We all are suffering from it. Every single person. This is a fact. The quicker you get that in your head, the faster you realize that you have work to do on yourself. Consistent and persistent work to do on yourself. It's not your fault that you're suffering from mental illness. It's not your fault. But now that you have the awareness that you are suffering from mental illness, you have to identify what mental illness you're suffering from. And then begin to do the work on that. And the trauma is the cause for the mental illness. The trauma that we've all been issued throughout our lives creates mental illness of varying levels. Some levels are so varying that they seem super extreme, and somebody might get Baker acted and put into a mental facility, put in a straitjacket. Some levels are so varying in the opposite direction that you can't detect it. People are good at hiding their mental illness. They hide it. They put it in a closet inside their mind, and they hide it to the general public when they're out at work and they're out in the street and out in the store and out to movies or in the mall. But the suffering is real and it's really in there. And people can only pretend for so long before that mental illness turns into dis-ease, which converts itself into disease. And that's how you end up, most people dying with cancer. That's why it's the number one killer on the planet. It all stems from mental illness, which turns, with the trauma, turns into mental illness, which turns into cancer, which kills you. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. The mind multiplied by shadow work. Our minds have the ability to heal and recover from trauma and adversity. So this is not a life sentence. We can fix this problem if we begin to do the work. While experiences of trauma and adversity have significant impacts on our mental and emotional well-being, the human mind has inherent resilience and adaptive capacities that enable us to heal and move forward. I wonder if I can play this video by Dr. Daniel Amen. How can I get it? It's on YouTube, but it might be too long to play. I'm going to check and see if there's a way to pull it up real quick and maybe share my screen. Hang tight with me and see if I can get lucky here. This is a real important topic. I really want to punch this point home. Let's see if I can get it up here. This is a clip that just recently came out, as a matter of fact. See if I can see it this way. I'm going to try to log into Instagram on this screen that's in back of the camera and see if I can just find this clip and pull it up. I want you to hear what Dr. Amen actually had to say. See if I can find this. Let's see if this is it here. This is it. That's one of them. Clips there. Just give me a second, gang. I just really want to find this clip because it's really important. We're talking about the trauma. Maybe fast. Boy, it's such a good clip. Oh, I think I found it. Here it goes. I found it. Make sure this is the right one. Okay. Let's see if this is it. I'm gonna try this one and see. Let's see if we get lucky. I'm gonna try to share this screen and play this, and let's see. Let me pull this back down for a second, and let me see if I can get lucky. This might be the right clip. Let's just see. Share screen, share audio. Go to the window.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to check the comments and see if you guys were able to hear that and see that. If you were able to hear and see what Dr. Arma and I were talking about there, just drop me a yes or something, or you understood it in the comments. Let me know if you guys were able. Oh, it said can't no sound. Okay, well I guess that didn't have any sound. Can't hear the clip. Okay, well I'll find a way to upload that clip or maybe download it and get it uploaded so you guys can hear it. But basically, what was happening, you can read the caption. There was a caption. Hopefully, you were reading the caption. He was saying that after scanning my brain, he noticed a brain injury. He noticed that there was a trauma in my brain, and based on that trauma, there was a situation where it could have helped me develop something called PTSD. And he was asking me, how do I handle it? What do I do with this trauma? And I told him I typically don't have a negative mindset. I haven't succumbed to that. What I've done is I look for solutions to problems, and that keeps me moving in the right direction. See? Because of the trauma pattern, I didn't let myself become the trauma. I took myself away from the trauma. I separated myself from the two and realized the only way to cure this problem within me is to acknowledge that it's there, but then also begin to look for solutions to the problems in my life. And that will then help me do the shadow work and also help others. That's the importance of what we're talking about. There's a lot of things that you can do, and trauma is a big problem on this planet, a huge problem on this planet, because even just coming out of the womb is trauma. Getting spanked on the butt your first moment into the third dimensional reality to make you cry and scream is trauma. We're given trauma from the moment we arrive until the moment we end. That's why the work must be ongoing. The work on yourself must be ongoing. It's not just, oh, I've been working on myself and it's over. It's a consistent job that needs to be done. Resilience refers to the ability to bounce back, adapt, and recover in the face of adversity. The mind has the capacity to harness resilience and gradually overcome the effects of trauma. It can tap into inner strengths, coping mechanisms, and support systems to regain a sense of stability, hope, and well being. When I was with Dr. Amen, he noticed that trauma pattern is a diamond shape in the top of my brain. He knew all about he could tell me my life story without me telling him anything, just based on the trauma pattern in the SPECT scan. But what he realized, and he says, and if you watch the Scan My Brain episode, you can find the full episode of Scan My Brain on YouTube, on his YouTube account. He says, for some reason, you didn't develop PTSD. You developed PTG. I said, what's PTG? He said, you developed post-traumatic growth. Where I didn't take the victim mentality, I took the growth mentality. What can I glean from this? What can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this trauma? So I absorbed the trauma in a totally different way than the average person. It accelerated me in a pattern that has me moving upward and still moving upward till this very moment. Whereas the average person, it stalls them out and freezes them and locks them in place. And they usually succumb to the trauma and develop PTSD and a victim mindset, and they spin their wheels for the rest of their life. Neuroplasticity, as mentioned earlier, is the brain's ability to reorganize and form new neural connections. It plays a crucial role in the mind's healing and recovery process. So we can recover from trauma, just like we can recover from a broken arm. It's not a life sentence, but you have to do the work. You need to go see a psychiatrist. Number one, everyone should see a psychiatrist. Every single human on the planet should see a psychiatrist. In the minority community, it's frowned upon. But I'm telling you now, I'm a minority, and I'm telling you, go see a psychiatrist. Coping and adaptation. The mind engages in coping mechanisms and adaptive strategies to navigate and make sense of traumatic experiences. This is why some people become drug addicts and alcoholics. They're trying to cope. It may involve seeking support from loved ones, engaging in therapy or counseling, developing self-care practices, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in creative outlets. Get into a sport, get into some type of activity that exerts energy if you can. Some people can't because they just can't walk or move, but if you can, these coping strategies help individuals process their emotions, gain a sense of control, and promote healing. Very important to understand this. This is a huge part of being able to deal with the traumas in your life that have the capability of really holding you back. Seeking professional help from therapists, counselors, or psychologists can play a vital role in the healing process. These professionals provide guidance, support, and the evidence-based interventions that can facilitate healing, address trauma-related symptoms, and promote overall well-being. Therapy approaches such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EDMR, it's called sometimes, or trauma-focused therapies are specifically designed to support individuals from recovering from trauma. Let me show you some a very quick clip here on one of these techniques for dealing with trauma. Let me pull up this video clip right quick. Where did I put it here? It's got to be here. Hold on a second. Where'd it go? Hold on a second. I put it up there. Let's see. Yeah. Folder. It's called eye movement. It's not eye movement video. Okay, hold on one second, gang. I want you to watch this video quickly. EMDR. It'll take me 1 second to get it in place. It's really, really important. Most people are not taught how to treat trauma, how to deal with trauma. I'm sorry. This is just one technique that you can use to help get through this. And that's why I want to make sure I get this to you right now before we wrap this up. Okay. Be up there in 10 seconds. Great. Trauma is a serious problem in our lives that we need to evaluate. We have to do the shadow work. We have to take a deep look at ourselves. There's a lot of self-help books out there to deal with trauma. Elizabeth's book helps deal with trauma. It's called The Recipe to Elevated Consciousness. I showed it in the beginning of this lecture. It has about 40 or 50 modalities that you can utilize that she used herself in order to climb out of the darkness into the light. I highly recommend it. Okay. And let me see if I can get this clip added in here now. So I go to Dropbox, download this real quick, and put it up in my folder. It's highly, highly, highly important that we learn how to deal with this. A lot of people are frozen right now. They can't move mentally. They don't know which way to turn, which way to go. They're stuck because of trauma. It has them in freeze mode. They can't pivot. They're just completely stuck. And in order to get unstuck, you have to face the trauma. Just like if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, you have to first admit you have a problem. With trauma, you have to first admit, wow, I have some deep trauma inside of me that I have to work this out. I have to face it. A lot of people hide the trauma. You put it in a little tiny compartment and hide it away. You end up getting sick over years. You end up having a lot of different side effects like being snappy, being belligerent, having attitudes, being angry. All that's undealt with trauma in your life. Okay. Here's a technique that can help you relieve some of that trauma. Just a simple technique that actual psychiatrists teach to their patients.
If you have post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, all kinds of things in everyday life can trigger a traumatic memory and create stress. Specific places, loud noises, large crowds, even everyday things at your home. The thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations you had during your trauma can affect how you feel, act, and think today. So how do you reduce the stress caused by these memories? One form of talk therapy that has proven effective for treating PTSD is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR. Memories can be made up of many images and related feelings, and EMDR helps you reprocess the trauma to experience it in a different way. EMDR starts with history taking. This involves describing important life events and the trauma you want to work on, as well as your treatment goals. You'll learn ways to manage your anxiety too. Your therapist will ask you to look back at the trauma and think, what negative thought about yourself do you have from that experience? What would you like to believe about yourself going forward? How bad does it feel to you right now? You'll start processing a memory from there. Your therapist will have you move your eyes back and forth while you think about the trauma and those related feelings. During this phase, new and useful information comes up, and old, painful thoughts, memories, and feelings fade and become less distressing. At the end of processing, you'll look back at the positive beliefs that you want to have about yourself. Processing is over when these positive beliefs feel true to you and there are no unpleasant sensations in your body. This phase of treatment may take several sessions. You may also work through more than one traumatic memory before treatment is over. EMDR doesn't require you to take medication. With your therapist's help, you'll follow a step-by-step program for about 3 months. Most people who've completed EMDR show noticeable improvement in their symptoms, and many no longer have PTSD. EMDR works well for both men and women, and it's evidence-based, which means EMDR has been proven to work in multiple research studies. If EMDR sounds like it could be right for you, talk to your doctor about finding an EMDR provider. or visit the National Center for PTSD website at www.ptsd.va.gov to learn more about EMDR and other PTSD treatments. No matter how long you've been living with PTSD, know that you can get better.
Okay, great little short video there. Hope you was able to glean and get something out of that. EMDR is a great technique for helping yourself with dealing with trauma. If you look in the comment feed underneath this live feed on Forbidden Knowledge TV, you'll see some people had commented that they had been using this and it changed their life, right? And so let's look, Jose Gonzalez, the upgrade was well needed. The mind feels more illumination from dense shadow state. Infinite love sending to you. Let's see here. Alyssa Sunshine says, EMDR is amazing therapy, brings you back to your childhood to figure out where there is a blockage. Jody says, as a Black woman, EMDR therapy is incredibly healing. All right. Tanasha Ward, my favorite affirmation, I only entertain thoughts that empower me. PTG, I love that. Incredible. Beautiful. All right, cool. Let's get back to it. All right, let's talk about 4 ways to hack your genetics to improve your body and mind. You can hack your genetics. Genes contain information that determine everything from appearance to intelligence. A person inherits genes from their parents, and how parents live affect their child's genes. So how your parents lived, in other words, their upbringing, their belief systems, their own trauma, in your body. Not only their trauma, but 15 to 20 generations prior to your parents is in your body. It's called epigenetics. So you are not only battling your own conscious thoughts and subconscious thoughts, but you are also battling against your ancestors' thoughts and memories, which are encoded into your body through the RNA. It's a mistaken assumption that everything you inherited in your genes is permanent. Your lifestyle and circumstances can awaken individual genes or suppress others. Here are ways you can alter your environment and lifestyle to improve your body and mind. So you can change this situation. You don't have to suffer with this. It's not a life sentence, but you have to take what? Action. If you want to manifest a better outcome physically in your body, it's going to take action. Without action, I guarantee you, nothing is going to happen. You are what you eat. Here's the first step. People don't like this one. Food and nutrition are important. Both can influence the body and mind. If you regularly consume healthy and nutritious food, your genes will respond accordingly. Healthy nutrition awakens essential genes that have a positive impact on your mind and body. It's critical to have consistently healthy diet because you want your good genes to be active. So that means stop buying snacks. People say, man, how do you do it? Like, how come you're not always eating chips and and all this? I don't buy them. First of all, I hate going to the grocery store anyway. I'm in and out like a ninja when I do have to go. I'm in and out. Boom, boom. You don't even see me. All right. But at the same time, I don't buy bags of chips. I'm not buying bags of candy. I'm just not buying that stuff. I don't buy juice. I can't stand drinking juice. Juice is high in sugar and high in fat because the sugar turns into fat. I'm glad that I don't like the taste of juice. I just don't like juice. I have water, coffee, and tea in here, and that's it. No juice. And coconut milk. I love coconut milk, which I add to my coffee. A little couple drops of coconut milk, and some stevia, and I'm good to go. Right? But again, it's a decision that you have to make. I love Doritos. Doritos don't love you. So why are you eating them? I love Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew don't love you. Why are you drinking? If you met a person, man or woman, and got into a relationship with them, and they said to you, I don't love you, and they began to abuse you on top of that, would you stay in that relationship? Think about that. Are you going to stay in that relationship? They're abusing you and they tell you that they don't love you. You got to be a fool to stay in some kind of relationship like that. So why would you keep staying in a relationship with food that's going to give you the same exact treatment? It don't love you and it's damaging you. It's actually mistreating you physically. So why would you continue to do that? Because you love it. It's all a decision. I like to maintain pretty rigorous nutrition plan throughout my week. My healthy food plan consists of loose versions of paleo diet. I'm not really a paleo diet, but I eat a lot of protein. Not only does this keep my mind sharp, but it helps keep us at optimal performance when working out. And I haven't consumed alcohol. This is more than 3 years because this was actually a copy from one of Elizabeth's things, but it's been more than I was 17. So let me add this up now. It's now 2023. I'm 51. I'll be 52 in September. So in 1988, I drank 2 beers. 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I had 2 beers. 35 years ago, I had 2 beers. I didn't like it, and I never drank again. And I have witnesses for this because everyone around me, my fiance Elizabeth, my sister Maria, who was actually there when I drank the 2 beers and got sick and didn't like it. When I was 17, she saw me. I came over to the house she was at, and she was like, "Oh man, this boy's through." And I was sick for 3 days. Never drank again. My friend Terrence Heath, good friend of mine from back in the day, he might even be on this live right now. I went to high school with him. We're like the last of the Mohicans. My good friend Henry Miles. 35 years. Do you know how much money I saved? Well, all my friends were hanging out at clubs and getting to VIP booths and spending money on the bottles with their sparklers and all that kind of stuff. I was driving in nice luxury cars. They driving in Toyotas, blowing their money on stuff. And they go, how do you afford all this? How do you have these nice places and these nice clothes and these nice cars? Because I invested the money for you paying for drinking and smoking into my business. And then I bought this stuff under my company name so I can write all these payments off on my taxes so I get the money right back. And you working a 9 to 5, punching a clock and taking your income and spending all of it on stuff you don't need and you can't write off on taxes. So all of it's a liability. You see the difference in thinking there? Everybody deals with stress, and that can have an impact on our health and genes. If you're consistently stressed out, certain useful genes can gradually become suppressed or activated to help you cope. That can have a direct impact on your productivity and your health. You have to reduce your stress levels. Every single day when I wake up, I try to focus on having a stress-free day. To combat stress, I like to go on long runs or drive or listen to my favorite music, positive mental strength tricks, and breathing exercises to help still my mind and bring my heartbeat down. I do a lot of beach, exercise while I'm by the ocean. I usually do 4 or 5 miles. Sometimes I post it on my social media on Facebook. You can see my mile tracker there. Just verify what I'm saying. I always have the receipts. Sometimes I do more than that. The other day I did 6.7 miles, I think it was, and posted that as well. Breathing exercises, taking deep breaths, not breathing shallow, oxygenating my blood. Important. Deep breathing in my meditation. Very important. Bringing the stress levels down. The most important thing for a man at my age is reduced stress. The higher my stress, the shorter my lifespan. The higher the stress, the shorter your lifespan. If you want longevity and you don't want to die sick, you have to reduce your stress. An active lifestyle will awaken the best genes. Stay active, stay physical, dancing, running, right? Walking powerful walks, like power walks. Those are really, really good. If you have bad knees and bad ankles and you can't run, go for a power walk. A 20-minute power walk at about 3.5 miles an hour is the same equivalent of doing 1,000 crunches or sit-ups. Think about that. Train rigorously every week. Find something that you can do that will force your body to move, which will pump the lymph and get your lymph fluids flowing so you can cleanse and detox your body. Find something to do. Find a way to exercise, whatever it is. Do more than what you're doing now so your body can start to move, your respiratory system can work, your heart can pump, your lymph can pump and work properly. Change your environment. Sometimes changing your environment isn't as easy as influencing other aspects of your life, but you can control it in small ways. Regular exposure to morning sunlight, a clean home. Clean your house. Stop living in a dirty, filthy house. When your house is filthy and dirty and your office is filthy and dirty, what you're seeing is a manifestation of what's going on in here in your mind. You filled up with so much here and it spills out into the third dimension. And that's why your room in your house, your kitchen and your office look like crap and they're out of order and they're filthy. And to fix this problem, it takes one thing: making a decision to fix it. It's all about the decision. And once you make the decision, guess what? That's conscious thought. What's the next thing? Action. Multiplied by what? Action. When you put the action behind it, what's the manifestation going to be? A clean house, a clean office, a clean room, a clean kitchen. And now you have reduced the chaos. And once the chaos is reduced, you have more space for cognitive thinking and problem solving. Okay? Very, very important. I want to wrap by getting back into this again. I can't stress the importance of this enough. And I'm going to email this link to everybody tonight. As soon as we get off here, I'm going to send you guys an email with the links to my sources and plugs and contacts. One of them is going to be credcodemanagement.com. You can scan this QR code. One of the biggest steps in moving forward in prosperity and legacy building for financial security for yourself and your family is going to be getting your credit fixed and getting it straightened out the right way. I highly recommend you get a free consultation from credcodemanagement.com. Jason's over there. Tell him Forbidden Knowledge sent you and get a free consultation and figure out exactly what can be done to take you to the next level so that you can leverage your credit. And then once he gets your credit straightened out, he then will be able to get you some financing that will allow you to invest into yourself, invest into a business, and build something that can create income, passive income, so that while you're working, doing whatever else you do, you can generate money somewhere else. Don't keep your eggs in one basket. I did that back in 2008. I thought I had hit a home run and made it home, and I was doing everything in real estate. And then the real estate market collapsed. And I almost lost everything. And from there, I learned diversification. That's why I have so many companies now. I have so many programs running at the same time. When one's doing bad, another one's doing good. When one's doing mediocre, another one's doing phenomenal. I'm not relying on one stream of income. Ever. Never, ever doing that again. But how did I get to the point where I'm at now, where I was able to even launch and do these things? I leveraged my credit against a line of credit, which allowed me to invest in myself and build a business. And here I am today. Take the first step. credcomanagement.com. And once you leverage that credit properly, or if you have some money to invest now and build a passive income, make sure you get a free consultation from artcrypto.io. There's your scan me code. Scan that code. You can learn how to become your own bank. I did it, and it's working phenomenal. It's working phenomenal. Okay, so if I can do it, you can do it. They literally walk your hand through every single phase of the process and the step. And at any moment, you can withdraw your money. It's not like the stock exchange or some other investment where you got to wait. It's on the blockchain. So you can track every transaction. There's nothing that can be hidden from you. You can see everything. It's open book. And you can take your profits whenever you want at will. We recommend you actually take your profits. Don't leave your profits just sitting there. Take your profits. You can move money into any account at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I keep all of my money on a hardware ledger that I can actually physically hold in my hand. My crypto is not on an app. My crypto and my assets that I have are all on an actual physical drive that I take with me anywhere I want. I mostly keep it in a fireproof safe so that if a platform goes down, my crypto doesn't go with it, like FTX or whatever. Like disappeared, right? My money's not in there. If all those people who are on FTX had a hardware wallet, they'd still have all their crypto right now. They were relying on an outside source. I'm relying on my own stuff, hardware that I can put in my own hand and control my destiny with. So get yourself a hardware wallet. Contact artcrypto.io/Billy Carson. Scan that code and get your wallet ASAP. All right. And with that being said, guys, we're going to end this session. I want to thank everyone for coming on here today and being a part of the Supermind Code, Unlocking the Supermind Code Workshop with 19 Keys and Billy Carson. It's been a great one. When we end